welcome back to the Mom's View. How are you guys doing?
Great. How are you?
Really good.
We're seriously not this cheesy all the time.
No, I am. I'm 100% cheesy. I own it. I know it. Like, sometimes I feel like when I'm writing out on Instagram, like, people are going to think that I'm super cheesy, and then I'm like, I am. I'm just a cheesy person.
You're
I'm okay
so
with it.
cute. I love you.
I just cheesy. I don't know where it comes from.
And you love cheese.
I don't really love cheese.
I love this conversation.
I love
right
cheese.
now.
I love assorted, like, different cheeses. I don't like a stick of Monterey Jack. Sorry.
Just so you know, we're at my house and all my kids are home. So
And
if you
it's
hear
summer.
noises, just that's what it is. We might get a little surprise in the background, like a child bopping through the background. Yes. But anyways.
Yeah. So cheese.
Great.
Cheesy. Speaking of foods, like, I'm so excited for camping. We're getting ready to go camping for 10 days in Island Park. And I'm just so excited about the
You know what
food.
you need to get? Tevas. I freaking
What?
love Tevas. The shoes. Remember
they would
those?
be-
Oh, I thought they were called
I
Tevas.
probably had those when I was little.
It's a live fly. They're really pronounced Teva. My whole life has felt like a lie to me.
It's a lie.
Yeah, we know the guy that, anyways, we know the guy that works in their marketing.
I know the guy.
And he was like,
yeah, I do.
Yeah, he was like, he's like, actually they're pronounced Tevas. But I just bought some to go to Yosemite because I'm like, these are like outdoorsy shoes. And I literally took a nap in them. They're so comfortable. Those are like the Velcro kind, but it feels like you're walking on foam. And with flip-flops, and they just like, they keep your shoes in place, especially when you're like hiking and stuff, but I love
You know what I did is I love Tory Burch flip-flops. And so I bought some jelly Tory Burch flip-flops to wear in the water. And then I was like, what if I lost one?
Oh, because they're expensive.
Yeah. So then I
Or
feel
Birks
that
with
was
socks.
like a bad idea.
Sorry, I don't know how we got
Where
from
did I
cheese
just-
to shoes. Only
I
I
just
could transition that.
Where were you just talking about wearing ruffly socks with Birks?
I just,
Oh, in your video.
yeah, I
Your
was
last
saying, I
video.
feel like it's going to come in. I'm seeing that happening.
I still can't get on the Birkenstock.
I love
I'll buy you some good ones. There's some, they're not real Birks, they're Givenchy. So they're like, okay, they're Givenchy, but they're leopard and they're thinner than Birks and they look like them. They're a little more expensive. They're so cute.
Also, American
like
Eagle
that.
has some, and they're way better priced.
Do you not like them because they're so wide? Or?
I never got into them. Yeah, I always thought they looked like duck feet.
Kind of like the Crocs thing. Like you're like people who wear Crocs, but then you wear them, you're like, I love them.
I made my kids wear them because they were such good kid shoes.
Yeah,
they're
so
perfect
easy to
when
put
they start
on and
walking.
light. You had some tie-dye ones. They were like Airwalk ones, and I remember thinking, I want her shoes. They were so cute. Anyways, sorry, I'm so sorry.
We could talk all day on shoes.
Yeah, I have a serious problem about shoes. I need to really like
Do you
come to grips
guys-
with it.
Do you guys have a favorite camping food?
Oh, camping, all the foods. Whenever you make your tinfoil dinners, I love those. She does the best tinfoil dinners.
I'm like an 11-year-old. I love a good ham and cheese sandwich with chips.
You know what? It's so true.
Camping, like,
They're better camping, ham and cheese sandwiches.
Yeah.
Also, eggs in the morning. Scrambled eggs in the morning are
Yeah.
better camping.
yeah.
Eggs and
I
bacon.
think all food is better camping.
Yeah. So when I think of camping, I think of no diet. First, like
Yes.
s'mores and.
I know. I've been thinking about that too because we swim a lot when we go up there. So I'm going to be in a swimming suit. I'm like, I'm going to be eating so much and just, who cares? Just camping. It's true.
Yeah.
Like, whatever.
The mosquito made me swell up.
Yeah, that's the only time my mom would ever buy sugary cereals is when we were camping.
Really?
So that's what I remember about camping is like, we finally get Doritos and sugar cereal.
And root beer, didn't you guys?
And root beer, yes. Yep, that's true.
Camping's the best time to indulge.
I know. You guys should come up.
What's better than like outdoors and food and shoes and Tevas? Jackson's like, you're on a mission. I'm like, they're seriously the most comfortable shoes.
Are they expensive?
No, they're like, okay, well maybe like if we're like with the sandals, $50, but they're really good quality.
This is not a brand deal, by the way.
No, you
should
would think
be.
that, but I
should
feel like I
be.
can't
Teva,
talk about
where
anything
are
I
ya?
love without being like,
Where
brand
are ya?
deal. Where are you? Where are you?
Do you guys have any fun plans for the summer coming up? I know you guys are going to the family reunion. I'm not going.
Yes, Yosemite. I'm excited. I've never been, and I'm excited because Jackson's been like all over the world. So I feel like we don't have. I mean, it's kind of stupid. Of course, we can create new experiences together, but when they've already been there, it's like you know, you both get to do it together. And he's like, I've never been to Yosemite, and I really always wanted to go there. So I was like,
Cool.
We rented a Jeep Wrangler, so I'm excited to go like hiking. And
Me too, because I feel like we've gotten to enjoy like the city parts of California, and I always hear about how beautiful like the forest is and like the countryside and the wineries and like all this stuff that I've still wanted to experience some of that. So I'm excited to go to Yosemite.
I don't know what to expect. We're gonna be a day late, but I'm excited just to be up there and get out in God's country, you know?
I know, I always thought when we lived in California, before I move back, I want to go to all of these places and explore.
like the redwoods.
Yeah, explore all of it. And I didn't.
Yeah.
Because
life
I'll send you
happens.
pictures. Yeah, send me pictures. It's my little brother's homecoming.
Yeah,
the
you
same
can't.
weekend.
You can't miss it.
Yeah.
I know, we're really bummed we're gonna miss that. Gavin's like, I want to hear all his stories. I'm
He
like,
will.
well, we'll get together. We know them,
Yeah.
so we'll get together.
You'll see him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited for that. That's awesome. I'm bummed.
Yeah, and then I think for the rest of the summer, like I've decided August is like, we're not going anywhere. I'm gonna do this serious like house organized clean out session before school starts.
I'll come help you.
Yeah, I'm excited because I've been reading a book about tidying up, and I'm like, yes, I'm ready. I'm getting rid of all this crap.
Because I just had a garage sale, and it feels like even though most of the stuff was in my basement, I feel like, like my house feels good because I had a garage sale, and Jackson's like, we're not gonna sell all of it. I'm like, here's the thing, I'm a hustler, and if I can make $1, I'm gonna make $1. So we sold like a lot of stuff, like almost $1,000 worth, and then we still had tons that we were able to donate. So it was like win-win. We donated and sold, but it just feels like, maybe I'm wrong, but I do feel like there's something to be said with eye noise. Like if you're organized in your life, but your house is messy, like I can't focus if my house is noisy and messy. You know what I'm saying? So like being able to cleanse that out, I think helps you. Like Jackson and I, Sunday night, we're usually the laziest on Sundays, but we took 30 minutes and cleaned the entire house together, and we just slept better. It helped Monday start off better.
Totally agree.
Because there was no eye noise.
1000%.
So I'll come help you if you want me to.
Yeah, well, that's what I've been. Yes.
That's when you get sweatpants, Dr. Pepper, and loud music.
And loud music and
Pine Sol. I love the smell.
Pine Sol. Not a brand deal once again. Pine Sol, give us a call.
But I mean, if you're interested, I love the way you smell.
That's so funny. Yeah, that's been my problem for at least a year. Since we moved into this house, I just feel like there's so much clutter all the time. And after reading this book, it's like I'm finally ready to get rid of stuff.
Yeah.
I can't remember. Somebody had a book about how you organize clutter. And we have a drawer called the junk drawer, but I literally bought all these clear, it's like a big clear container of all these section parts. And it's junk, but it's organized. Like all the batteries are in one thing. All the pencils are in one thing. What are random things you find around your house? Lego toys. I throw them away. It's a new rule. I'm like, if I find one, gone.
We do that too. My family cannot stay organized. I did that. We have 3 junk drawers. And I did buy containers. And do you think anyone can put them in the containers? No. Not even me. No. I'm not liking it on them. And so I organize it I try to every couple months when it's just, we can't open or close the drawers because there's so much stuff. But I'm always like, my mind is blown that we can't just put the pencils in the
tell my
pencil.
friend, I'm like, it takes as long for you to throw it in the drawer as it is for you to put it in the box with all the other pencils. It always blows my mind why they can't do it. So we need a little of each other.
Yeah.
But I would love to come on, you guys. We can make actually a really great Moms You video.
Yes.
Yeah.
My advice is literally, you don't need any of it.
I know.
That's there's so much that if you really think about it in the context, you're like, I don't need this. That was my thing. I was holding on to so much and get rid of it all.
Yeah.
Decorations, get rid of it all.
It feels so good.
I'm gonna take a room per day. I'm gonna map it out. I've already got it in my head. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna spend a time with each kid and go through their rooms because they always ask me to help them organize, and I always just feel overwhelmed with the rest of the house.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, I need to spend.
I'll come up and help you.
Hey, I'm calling you, Carly.
It will help. Many hands make light work, and we need to learn to ask each other for help more. And I need to serve you guys more. So
Yeah, I agree. You do. So.
that's what you said. On the Moms You.
I'm gonna serve you guys by not making you clean up. Anyways, should we hop into the topic of the day?
Yes. So our topic was, so there is an article, and the article is titled 8 Ways You May Be Setting Your Child Up for Failure.
Bom, bom. Bom, bom. No, I know in every way.
So these might be a little bit like, wait, what? How does that set your child up for failure? But just stay with me here. Okay, so the first one is letting them miss school. That's kind of like I mean, I know all of us, we travel a ton. We're always doing stuff, and our kids are missing school. And I do see this one because, like, even if you miss school for things that are important, like my kids, my older ones especially, are like, oh, I missed this. I don't know how to do it. Like in math, like if they miss learning a certain topic, then they have to go back and we have to do after school stuff. So I do see that one.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think it's going to change though. It's really hard not to
I
do.
even got like the letter that makes you feel like the worst parent, and you're like, because we do travel, and it's like, what do you do? But then I feel like I agree with that, but I do think there are experiences out in the world that traveling teaches kids that you would never get if you don't travel. Like,
Right.
you can sit in school and read a book about the Statue of Liberty, or you can come with me to New York and we're gonna go tour the island and and like learn and see it in real life. And so I'm not saying like miss school to go do those things, but Jackson and I have always said, like, if it's going to be educational, we're for sure it's okay with us. And as long as and Cooper's grades are really good, so if his grades were like reflecting the absences, then I can see that for sure. But I do think that there are experiences out in the world that you can't get in the classroom.
I agree. And I think it's just about how you do it. Because like we always come back and we go back and we talk to the teacher. Like we're very communicative, if that's a word, with the teachers, and like we try to catch them up because I don't want them to feel like they're failing. Like that's the worst. That's a good way to like sweep the legs out from under them, like when they get momentum and then they lose it. So we try to keep up on it. I think that's the important thing, is like what you're focusing on and making sure you go back and help them succeed instead of just like you're leaving school and you're on your own. But
But those days where it's like, because I feel like travel is an exception, I think most people would agree with this, but those days when your kids are just like, I don't feel good, I just want to be home with you, Mom, and lay in bed, and you're just like, oh, you know what I'm saying? Those days where you have them and you're just as exhausted to put up a fight with them to go to school. I think maybe, is that what it's referring to?
I think that too.
I think it's both. Like just missing school or just allowing them to miss school when they want to miss school. I don't know how I feel about that, because I definitely will push them to go.
Yeah.
But if they're genuinely sick,
I always say go
I feel like a horrible parent.
Yeah, well, plus no teacher wants your kid at school barfing everywhere.
Yeah.
You know what I've noticed? We've traveled before and I've came home a day early, and then my kids are too exhausted to go to school the next day. Because traveling is really hard on them.
I think too, you should kind of watch your kids and what else they're doing. Because when I was in elementary school, that's when my mom was sick, and I had stomach aches every day. And so I would always call in, I need to go home. And I would go to the doctor and they'd be like, she's fine, there's nothing wrong with her. And what I wasn't realizing, it was the anxiety I was having because she was sick that made me want to go home and be with her. And so sometimes I feel like kids are going through emotional, like maybe they're physically not sick, but emotionally maybe they're having trouble, like that's why they don't want to go to school, or like you should kind of address that too. Like maybe there's some experience for somebody at school that they're not wanting to go see, or anything, could be anything, but trying to pay attention to the reasons why they're not wanting to go, whether it's like I'm just tired and I'm being lazy, or there's a real reason here.
I think this could go two ways. One thing I've noticed about Cooper is I think I've done so much for him because it's so much easier for me just to do it. But I don't think he knows the value of like hard work and being dedicated to something. And I think school is that way. Like I was trying to tell Cooper, we're going to school, and every kid has said this, I've said this, but it's like, I don't want to go to school. I don't want to go to school today. And I think that's more the attitude that kids want to have these days because it's heard so much. But I said, do you realize that school in America is free and you get to choose to go? I'm like, some kids don't get to go to school and they don't know how to read. They don't know how to learn. And so I've tried to teach him that like going to school is an opportunity and it's a way to be around your friends. I'm going to be at home all day cleaning. You could do that with me. But I think it's like teaching your children that attitude of you can do hard things and it's good for you and you should appreciate that. Because we all need mental days, I think. Like, I need them sometimes where you just want to, like, hole up and not do anything because you just need a mental day. But I think, like you said, like, having a good relationship with our teacher, like, Cooper and I's teacher would text, and I love that. Yeah. She was very good, and she wasn't, like, on her phone all day, but I love that I could have that direct communication with her. Hey, we're going to be gone the next 4 days. Can you send Cooper's homework the next 4 days with them? But I think teachers get it. Their moms and parents, or they've been around enough kids, they know. Especially having my mom in the school system, like she's heard every story, she's told us everything. She's like, just have a good relationship with them. Let them know that you care, that you want to be a responsible parent, but that's your job, and that you travel, and just be on it. Like, when you travel, go in early, get the homework, make sure when they return the homework's done. And I'm like, that's a good way of looking at it. But I think I want to be a little bit harder on Cooper when it comes to like working hard and staying committed to that. Like chores. He like mowed the lawn one day, and it was like the cutest thing, but he was trying so hard to push the lawnmower, and he was doing it was fine. Like, he wasn't struggling, but it was like wiggly. And so then I was like, oh, the lines are going to be off. So then I let him do like 2 passes. I was like, okay, honey, I'll do it for you. You know what I'm saying? So like teaching your kids that attitude of not giving up and working hard. And school can be that way, because
It's hard.
I think about waking up early, and I'm like, so grateful I'm done with school. Just kidding. Be happy. School's good for you.
Yeah, that is true. So the next one on the list is allowing them to stay inside. So that can sometimes help set them up for failure. Allowing
Pokemon.
them to stay inside.
Do you play?
Yeah, I heard that Michelle Obama's been trying to get kids outside and active, and now that this Pokemon game is out, it has gotten kids outside and exploring and moving their bodies in a weekend, what she's been trying to do this whole entire time.
So it's like just knowing how to speak their language. Like, oh, they want a game, but how can we do it in a way where they will be moving while they game? I think we tried to do that, but that's still like keeping them inside. Do you remember your parents being like, go outside, it's summer,
And don't come back in until
it's dark. But we also live in a world now where you can't, like, it's hard for me just to trust that Cooper will be okay in the front yard and nothing's gonna happen.
Right, yeah.
You know, so that's like also that one of those catch 2020 things. But yeah, when they get bored, and when you only have one, it's so hard because they want you to entertain them.
Yeah.
You're like, go play with your dog, amigo.
Again.
It's nice that you have such a good neighborhood full of
Yeah.
little boys.
That's been a blessing.
Yeah. Casey and I talk about this a lot because we wanted to be outside all the time. I spent my summers outside.
Yeah.
And my kids like to be inside, but I feel like there's more for them to do.
Yeah.
To get on the internet and to play video games.
Gosh,
and,
YouTubers.
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot for them to do. So we might not have time for all 8, but maybe I'll just pick some of the ones that stuck out to me. So one other way that you can maybe set them up for failure is being their friend. And I know that we've talked about this, like there's like a fine line between being their friend and then being their friend. That didn't make sense, but you know what I mean?
Yeah, it does make sense actually. And I've noticed this more now that Rayleigh's getting older. Like when they're little, it's like you're their friend and you play with them on the floor and it's all cute. But when they get older, they need to know to respect you as their mother, as their parent, that what you say matters more than what they say. I don't mean that bad.
I know what you mean.
But what I say goes. I understand that you want to do this thing, but I'm not letting you because of these reasons. And it's not because I'm more important, but it's because I see the bigger picture and I'm your mother and I'm going to protect you and I'm going to do what I can. And if you let that creep into more of a friendship, that respect just isn't there. And you have to have that respect.
I think my mom and I were so close that the boundary line was very fair. And so the way we would talk to each other when we would fight, like I look back now, I'm like, I should not have spoken to my mom like that. But my intentions weren't to be disrespectful, but that was setting my boundaries for respect to my mom. And she didn't do anything wrong. Her intentions were also good. She wanted to be my friend, but at the same point you have to have those boundaries of I'm still your parent at the end of the day. And when I think of that, the first thing that comes to mind are like those moms that are so involved that they're like involving themselves in things that aren't of parenting. You know what I'm saying? Like a mom was talking the other day and she was like Snapchatting her daughter's boyfriend, or something like along those lines, and I was like, what? Like, it's one thing to monitor your children on social media, it's another to be getting involved in their friendships. You need to know who your kids' friends are, but you need to give them boundaries to be who they are, and you're still the parent. Like, don't become so involved in them that you're being them.
Or like trying to be the cool mom.
I'm not like the other moms, I'm the cool mom.
Yeah. It just like that's not important. You're the mom.
Yeah.
Like you need to be the mom.
And I think we all need boundaries. And I think kids need them for sure. And especially where maybe I'm the only one that feels this way, but I think today boundaries are so like hard to find, and not everything is accepted, which is a beautiful thing and can be a hard thing. So as a mom, it's important to set boundaries for our kids and realistic expectations of, at the end of the day, like, I'm your mother And I just wish, like, we have a lot of young girls, so just know that your parents really do love you and they really do care about you. And it's hard to be a parent and to know what's always going to be the best for you. Because we do want to be your friend, but sometimes it is hard to separate yourself and let your kids fight their own battles.
Yeah, and I think just being very open and honest with your kids. I try to with Braylee, tell her I want to be your friend. I will always be here for you, but I'm your mom first, and that's just where I'm coming from first, because I love you so much, more than you'll ever know. I will always be your mom, and I want to be your friend, and I want to do fun things with you, but it's just more important.
I think you have to know, like, as a parent, sometimes it's okay not to be loved by your child, liked by your child, because they're always going to love you. But like, I had a lady tell me once, she goes, when they're teenagers, they'll hate you, but don't worry, they'll come back when they're out of the teenage phase, and you just kind of have to know that. But also being sensitive to their needs, and like, it's hard to tell them, like, I know where you're coming from, I've been there, I understand. And even if you don't understand, like, being willing to be like, I don't understand exactly what you're going through, but I'm here for you and I love you. Being able to talk that way as a parent, but still setting those boundaries, I think is important. And, I still haven't, like, I'm at the very beginning of the teenage phase. So here we go. You guys are going to be coming along.
I know, yeah.
You have such good kids, then. They listen well. That one's a tricky one, though, so just do our best.
That's a good one. So another one is you may be setting them up for failure by building their self-esteem.
I think we recognized that one in Cooper a little bit early on because, and again, like, I want to trust people's intentions that they're good, but I do think that you can make your child to believe that others don't matter because they're so great. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think with self-esteem, that's a tricky one. I also think that you need to teach your kids humility and to be able to recognize when they are at fault and to learn how to say they're sorry. Because I think it's really rare these days when you find someone that's like, you know what, that was my fault, I'm sorry. Especially when kids fight. Like, this kid called Cooper a terrible name and told Cooper he was stupid. And not that Cooper's ever innocent. I'm always the one to be like, what did you do first? Like, because I never want to be that mom that just thinks, like, my kid never does anything wrong.
Right.
So I always ask Cooper, like, what did you do? And one time he's like, why do you think it's always me? And I said, well, I just want to make sure that you're learning the lessons in this. And even if you weren't at fault, there's always something you can learn from it, whether you're guilty or not. So anyways, I told him, I said, you know what? You should just go tell that kid that you were sorry. He felt like he needed to call you that. And he was like blown away. He's like, why would I have to apologize? I didn't do it. And I said, sometimes people just need an apology, and maybe you didn't do anything, and maybe that kid is at fault, but maybe you'll teach him how important it is to say, I'm sorry. And he can learn that from you. And I don't know if it like sunk in or if he really did it, but it was a really good learning moment for him and I. That you are the best, but others can be the best, and you can lose and you can win, but recognize when you're wrong, be humble, be proud of yourself, but like, that's not more important than other people around you.
Yeah, right. This one's so hard for me because I feel like the world tears down our self-esteem so much. And so it's like, as a mom, I feel like, am I doing enough to build their self-esteem? I agree, like, you need to teach them to be humble and to be loving and kind. But also, I just worry so much about what society's going to do to my kids, and if they're going to have a self-esteem left, that it's hard for me to think, like, I'm not doing all I can.
I want to read what the article kind of says about that. So you kind of get where the article's coming from. It says, everyone needs love and healthy doses of self-esteem, but some researchers suggest too much encouragement could have a dark side. Dr. Stephen Stonesy, who specializes in treating people with anger and abuse issues, suggests that high levels of self-esteem could lead to entitlement. When the world does not meet their entitlement needs, many with high self-esteem feel wronged and retaliate with manipulation, abuse, or violence. He says his advice focused instead on teaching children to value others as well as themselves. So I think that's true. Like, teaching them to have a high self-esteem, but to also build others up and not to get that sense of entitlement.
I think the key word was healthy. I think you can have healthy self-esteem, and I think you can have unhealthy self-esteem. I think healthy self-esteem, your fruits will be of your labor. Like, you will help other people, you'll be able to build them up. I think, like, this has been something that's been like lost over time, and now we're really embracing it, but learning to compliment other women or men, other men, learning to build others up doesn't ever take away from you. And Cooper was really territorial. Like, if I told another person, like, it was when he was smaller, but if I told another, like, it was like Brock or somebody's like, I love you, you're so cute. He's like, you don't love me, you don't think I'm cute.
Right.
And I had to teach him that just because I'm building him up doesn't take away from you. And so just because you're building others up, that doesn't take away from you. So I think the key word to me that stood out was healthy self-esteem.
Right.
And knowing your child, you know if you look at your child, if they're being a little cocky or hurtful. And I think oftentimes that actually comes from a low self-esteem.
Right.
So you know your child and what they need. If you feel like they're lacking self-esteem, build it up. If you feel like maybe they need to be humble, do things like you did. Like, let's make other people feel good today.
Yeah.
So.
I think sometimes parents have, in their efforts to love their child, they don't find fault with their child or don't allow them to recognize when they are at fault. Being able to be like, you know what, you were wrong, you need to say sorry, but be like, no, it's okay, everything they do is okay, then that can create a really unhealthy dose of self-esteem. Like, oh, like I'm right all the time, or, like it can be unhealthy. I can see that.
I've coached too many cheerleaders whose moms are like that, and bless their hearts, because I'm like, I know that your intentions are good, but too many I saw, like, they were there to protect them and to defend them without even like allowing their daughter to see the opportunity and what she would have done could have been wrong. And so I think like for me, that's why I'm so quick to get after Cooper's, because I don't want to take that experience away from him. Like I want him to be able to recognize his good qualities and his bad qualities and make those bad qualities better. And when moms, like when we're just always like the hover, the protector, the one that just always like, it wasn't their fault, it was your fault. I think we're actually, like the article says, taking away from our children.
Right.
Because it's just like that coddling, like entitlement sense that it's kind of the worst.
Being able to recognize so that they can improve themselves, because they can't improve themselves if they never have anything to improve.
Even though they're all of our angels and they're all perfect.
I think being able to have an unconditional love and see the goodness in them, but still recognize that they can improve themselves. I don't know. Did that make any sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. No,
I thought that was really
it's like
interesting,
you're
though.
giving them I like that, because it's giving you're actually giving your children the power and ability to choose to grow. And sometimes it's like we force that on them, but when you like love them where they feel comfortable to make those choices, that empowers them.
Right.
And I think that's like a really healthy tool.
Exactly.
Good job. Awesome. You're welcome.
All right, well, that's all the time we have today. There are more, but we'll leave the link in the description below so you guys can read the article yourselves and tell us what you think.
And of course, keep the conversation. We always love hearing your input and what you guys think. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time.
Bye.